In the late 19th century, US cities found a clever way to turn basic infrastructure into eye-catching monuments. These structures are standpipe water towers, tall, ornamental shells built to house vertical pipes that regulated water pressure in the days of steam-powered pumps. Unlike the bulbous water tanks you see today, these didn't store water. They absorbed surges and kept pressure steady so faucets flowed smoothly. At the height of this trend, hundreds of standpipe water towers dotted American skylines. Today, only a handful survive. Hi everyone, Ken here. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore the 7 most ornate surviving water towers in the US. Chicago's water tower is often mistaken for a little Gothic castle, and that's exactly the point. Built in 1869 from honey-colored limestone, its fanciful design had a very practical purpose. Inside was a 138-foot standpipe to stabilize water pressure and aid firefighting in the young, booming city. The tower was part of an innovative water system pumping from Lake Michigan, and architect William Boyington decided to disguise the pipe with style. He gave the tower neo-Gothic flair with carved octagonal turrets, buttresses, and a crenellated parapet that make it look like something from a fairy tale or a European medieval fort. Yet its intricate design spoke volumes about the civic pride and importance Chicago placed on its water supply. It wasn't just decorative, it turned infrastructure into a public monument. In 1871, the Great Chicago Fire ravaged the city, and the limestone tower famously survived the inferno even as most buildings around it burned. As one of the only structures left standing in the burn zone, it became a powerful symbol of Chicago's resilience. The tower was retired from active service long ago, but today it enjoys new life as the City Gallery hosting local art exhibits. Towering 154 feet and styled as a colossal Corinthian column, St. Louis's Grand Avenue Water Tower could be mistaken for an ancient monument, if not for the fact that it once pulsed with city water. Completed in 1871, this tower is the oldest of St. Louis's trio of historic standpipe towers. Local architect George Barnett designed the grand tower to resemble a giant Corinthian order column, with a stone base, fluted brick shaft, and ornate capital at the top. Inside that colossal facade was a 5-foot wide iron standpipe that, when connected to the nearby Bissell Point pumping station, absorbed surges and maintained pressure for the city's water mains. In an era of Greco-Roman architectural fascination, the Grand Tower must have been a head-turner. Imagine a pristine white column rising above a developing neighborhood of mostly low-rise buildings. It was both lovely and useful, a water pressure regulator dressed like a piece of the Parthenon. For 40 years, the Grand Avenue Tower did its duty, helping deliver reliable water and even serving as a backup for firefighting in a growing St. Louis. By 1912, improved pump technology made it obsolete, and the standpipe and its spiral staircase were removed that year. Thereafter, the Hallam column stood silent, its fate uncertain. Believe it or not, after World War II, some city officials wanted to demolish this outdated tower. Preservationists rallied, noting its unique architecture and history. After all, it was and remains the tallest freestanding Corinthian column in the world. The tower earned a spot on the National Register of Historic Places in 1970 and was restored and floodlit in 1998. Today, the Grand Avenue Water Tower still stands proudly in the College Hill area, an official city landmark. Perched on a bluff above Lake Michigan, Milwaukee's North Point Water Tower looks like a slender Victorian Gothic castle, the kind Rapunzel might envy, but it was built strictly for city waterworks. When it opened in 1874, Milwaukee was in the midst of a European architectural boom, and architect Charles Gombert gave the tower a romantic Victorian Gothic design to match. The 175-foot tall tower is made of cream city brick and limestone, its pointed arches and decorative flourishes evoking a fairy tale turret. Yet every design choice had a purpose. The beautiful exterior encased a 120-foot iron standpipe that kept Milwaukee's new water system running smoothly. Located just uphill from the North Point pumping station, the standpipe would absorb pulsations from the steam-driven pumps below. In other words, as the giant engines pushed water up from the lake, the standpipe buffered the pressure spikes, preventing pipes around the city from rattling and bursting. And by enclosing it in a stout, insulated tower, the city protected the water from freezing during Wisconsin winters. North Point operated for nearly 90 years, a quiet workhorse behind its ornate walls. By the 1960s, Milwaukee switched to electric pumps that delivered steady pressure, and the old standpipe was taken out of service in 1963. Today, though no water flows within now, the North Point Water Tower remains standing and well kept. St. Louis's Bissell Street Water Tower looks like a Moorish minaret transplanted from a distant bazaar, an exotic flourish on the city's north side skyline. Built from 1885 to 1886 near the Bissell Point water plant, the tower was designed by William Eames as a nod to Middle Eastern architecture with its tall, slender profile and ornamented crown. Rising 206 feet in brick and stone, it's actually the tallest of the surviving standpipe towers in America. The tower's red brick shaft is accented by arched doorways and small windows as it tapers upward. All this elaborate construction again had one simple job: shielding a massive standpipe that equalized water pressure. The Bissell Tower was built to supplement the earlier Grand Avenue water tower just a few blocks away as the city's water demands grew. It was decommissioned in 1912 along with the Grand Tower when new pumping technology rendered them unnecessary. Thereafter, Bissell Tower's remote location meant it received less fanfare and maintenance. Today it stands in a quiet circular park, a designated city landmark since 1966. The Louisville water tower doesn't scream waterworks, it looks more like a marble temple by the river. When it opened in 1860, it was the first ornamental water tower in the world. City leaders, worried about public skepticism toward a new water company, decided to make the pumping station an ornament to the city, blending architectural beauty with industrial efficiency, essentially gifting Louisville a public piece of art. Chief engineer Charles Scarlett designed the tower and its pump house in a classical revival style, inspired by French architect Claude-Nicolas Ledoux's idea that even utilities could be beautiful. They chose a hill by the Ohio River for good elevation and built a gleaming white tower ringed by a balustrade that once held Tenzing statues of mythological figures like Mercury and Neptune. Inside the 185-foot tower was an iron standpipe that tamed the force of Louisville's powerful steam pumps. In essence, this elegant temple hid a huge plumbing vent. Its opening followed a cholera epidemic in which dirty wells gave Louisville the nickname the Graveyard of the West. The new waterworks, completed in 1866, helped banish cholera, proving both its utility and the wisdom of winning public trust through grand architecture. The tower pumped water until 1910, then stood vacant. After decades of exposure to the weather, it underwent major restorations, including a 2022 project to repair metalwork, replace decayed wood, and restore those statues. Today, the site is home to the Louisville Waterworks Museum and the old pump station, and the tower, now lit up and freshly painted, presides over events and tours as a National Historic Landmark. Cincinnati's Eden Park standpipe could be a turret from a medieval fortress, a round brick tower with a smaller attached stair tower perched on one of the city's highest hills. Built in 1894 in the verdant Eden Park, this late Victorian standpipe tower was the city's answer to supplying water to the growing neighborhoods of Walnut Hills and Mount Adams. At 172 feet tall, with red brick walls and castle-like crenellations at the top, it's an imposing yet picturesque structure. The design came from the firm of Samuel Hannaford & Sons, the architects behind many of Cincinnati's landmarks. Water from the Ohio River was pumped up to Eden Park's reservoir, then into this standpipe, which fed the city water mains by gravity and regulated pressure for the high-elevation districts. Essentially, the tower allowed Cincinnati to push water uphill and still maintain steady service, all under the guise of a charming fortress watching over the park. The Eden Park standpipe had a relatively short active life. By 1916, it was deemed obsolete as more modern pumping stations and towers took over. Today it still stands guard over Cincinnati's skyline, though it hides some modern secrets. The city utilizes the old tower as a communications facility, with antennas discreetly placed where water once rose and fell. St. Louis loved water towers so much, it built one more even as the 19th century drew to a close: the Compton Hill Water Tower, a French, Romanesque beauty that doubles as a 179-foot-tall observation tower. Completed in 1898 on one of the highest elevations in the city, the tower was the last of its kind built in St. Louis and is often considered the grand finale of the standpipe era. Architect Harvey Ellis gave it a distinctive style: a cylindrical brick shaft wrapped in rusticated stone and terracotta details with arched windows and an elegant cupola on top. Like its older siblings, the Compton Hill Tower's purpose was purely practical. It concealed a 6-foot diameter, 130-foot-tall standpipe that dampened the surges from the city's water pumps. The Compton Hill Water Tower had the good fortune of a longer working life than the other St. Louis standpipes. It wasn't retired until 1929, when a new reservoir and pumping station made it unnecessary. After that, the tower faced the usual threats of demolition by neglect, but it survived and eventually found champions. In 1966, it was declared a city landmark, and a major restoration in 1999 brought it back to its former glory. And with that, I'll turn it over to you. Which of these standpipe water towers was your favorite? Let me know down below in the comments section. My goal for 2026 is to reach 1 million subscribers, so if you are among the 1 to 2 million monthly viewers of this channel who are not subscribed, Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so we can reach this goal together. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time on This House.